Run it back, Philly. No frauds, no fanboys, no intros.
The part that scares me is this. Also mentioned the Sixers are likely to re-sign James Harden. That I don't like. And why don't I like that? Because I think James Harden has nothing left in the tank anymore? No, that's not exactly why. I think James Harden still has a lot of value to an NBA team. I think James Harden wants more money than he's worth at this point in his career. And an article was written by somebody at the Philadelphia Inquirer, which did DJ Eastwood pay $1.99 a month to read this? Yes, I did. You're very welcome. If the Sixers do this, I will be on suicide watch. I'm dead serious. That was a joke for the bots. That was a joke. I was joking about suicide watch. Damn, I shouldn't have said that. YouTube is going to come at me, bro. They're going to be knocking on my front door. Put me in a mental institution. James Harden gives the Sixers their best chance to win an NBA title with Joel Embiid. Opinion piece written by Marcus Hayes, okay? James Harden gives the Sixers their best chance to win an NBA title with Joel Embiid. I vehemently disagree with that because you just saw both of these players not show up in Game 7 in the second round. If you had a more legitimate superstar scorer in between both of these guys and James Harden was just a point guard, then yeah. But at the end of the day, you ended up relying on James Harden to score when it mattered the most, and he couldn't do it. I know what the stands say. Well, he showed up in 2 games. You would have got swept if it wasn't cool. We lost 4-3 instead of 4-0. It's the same thing. When you needed him the most in Game 6 and Game 7, he was horrendous. That's just a fact. Anyway, Marcus Hayes writes this. 4 years, $210 million? Fans need to understand that that's okay if that's what it takes. It's not optimal, but the beard has made the process better and provides its best chance for completion. Marcus, did you wake up this morning and smoke crack for breakfast? 4 years, $210 million. And that's not optimal, but if that's what it takes. So just because James Harden showed up in a couple of games in the playoffs, you want to be paying him $50 million when he's 38. And he just looked absolutely burned out. 37. He just looked burned out at 33. You want to be paying him $50 million when he's 37? Are you out of your goddamn mind? But just because we have nothing better to do today, let's see what Marcus Hayes says to back up this opinion. James Harden is about as popular in Philadelphia right now as Carson Wentz, Ben Simmons, and the parking authority. Accurate. Unfortunately, like the other 3, Philly can't do without James Harden. Why not? You're not going to win relying on James Harden. You're not going to win you're not going to win either way. So what I'm saying is you don't have to have James Harden just because you're going to not win without him. You're not going to win with him. That's honestly, unless you fill in the blanks somewhere or unless he magically becomes Houston Harden. Whatever. Harden played erratically at the end of Game 6 and without energy and effort in Game 7 of the Eastern. 4 years, $210 million, and then you're going to write in your own piece that he played erratically at the end of Game 6 and without energy and effort in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference semifinals? He and Joel Embiid choked in the biggest moment of the process has seen in its decade of futility. 4 minutes of home court collapse followed by 48 minutes of humiliation at the Garden. And his reason for a 4-year, $210 million contract is what's plan B? You know what this is like? This is like being in a marriage where somebody is robbing you, cheating on you, lying, stealing, doing everything, 10 red flags. But you stay in the marriage because you don't want to be single. You know what I mean? I'm not a codependent. I don't know if some of you are. I'm not signing Harden to a $210 million contract just because I'm scared of what happens to the Sixers if he walks. Ridiculous, man. Embiid is 29. They have a small window to win. Don't have to read that. I could already predict what that says. Plan B, Tyrese Maxey. He hasn't even figured out how to be a complete shooting guard yet. I mean, he did average 20 points per game in his third NBA season. I don't know what you mean by a complete shooting guard. I think he's a complete shooting guard. I don't think he's a point guard. Kyrie Irving, really? No, I'm not on Kyrie Irving. You think Harden's got issues? Fred VanVleet, sorry, not elite. Nobody's saying Fred VanVleet's elite. Harden's not elite. Bro, Harden is not elite at this stage of his career. D'Angelo Russell benched by the Lakers in each of his last two playoffs. Gabe Vincent, poor shooter. Oh, yeah, the guy that's in the NBA Finals right now. Bro, I'll take Gabe Vincent right now. What are you talking about, poor shooter? Harden was 5 for 28 in game 2 and 3 combined. Talk about a poor shooter. Did we learn nothing about Miami and their self-evaluation of players? Familiarity counts. Continuity matters. The Celtics, Bucks, and Heat haven't faced major roster upheaval in years. Since 2011, the Sixers hadn't enjoyed roster stability. I don't like this take either. This take where people are like, hey, we can't keep trading players. We can't keep turning over the roster. You got to give it time, and you got to have some continuity for it to work. And then you compare it to the Celtics, the Bucks, and the Heat. Let me tell you why the Celtics, the Bucks, and the Heat haven't had this roster turnover as much as the 76ers have. Because their roster works. Obviously, if the Bucks are in the NBA Finals, winning an NBA championship in 2021, the Heat were in the NBA Finals in 2020, they're back in the NBA Finals right now. Of course they're not going to have major roster overhauls all the time. The Sixers keep doing it wrong and then realizing that they did it wrong, and then they have to turn over the roster again. You don't have to continue to have the same roster just for the sake of having the same roster if it didn't work last year and the year before. You guys said that same thing with the Ben Simmons stuff, man. Same thing. Oh, you got to give it time. You can't keep changing over. No, it's not working right now. It's not going to work next year. It's not going to work the year after that. Ridiculous take. But anyway, there's the opinion piece by Marcus Hayes, who thinks the Sixers should give James Harden a $210 million contract